Anything for Jackson is a 2020 horror film directed by Justin G. Dyck and written by Keith Hooper. The film following an elderly couple who, wishing to summon a deceased family member, kidnap a young pregnant woman. However, as the supernatural events continue to mount in frequency and severity, it becomes evident that they may be in over their heads. We open with the final act of a kidnapping, or the climax depending on how dark your outlook is. One elevator ride up, and we cut to a spooky title screen. Then Becker, played by Konstantina Mantelos, awaits bound, gagged, and at the mercy of her captors, one of whom gives her a fun fact of the day.
Aloha means hello and goodbye.
She has been kidnapped by Audrey and Henry, played by Sheila McCarthy and Julian Richings, respectively. Despite the strangeness of the scenario and outright illegal actions taking place, they at least had the decency to write a formal declaration.
We would like to apologize for scaring you this morning, but after much deliberation, we feel this would be the best way for you to go missing.
They've even taken the precautions of soundproofing the entire building, but why? What dastardly reason could this couple have for kidnapping Becker? Well,
we need to bring our grandson back, and this is the only way.
And yeah, Becker's mind isn't the only one that's been blown.
Jesus. Oh no, we don't use that name in this house.
Seems the fact that this kid apparition is appearing is something to celebrate. Awaiting the child, the couple go on with their daily lives. This includes dealing with the very friendly snowplower Rory, played by Yannick Bisson. Meanwhile, Audrey takes care of Becker, both with vitamins and covering of their tracks. All the while, she has this casual granny attitude that comes off creepy, but also rather hilarious.
Alright, I get it. It's been a big morning. I will back off.
At the hospital, Henry is dealing with Colin, played by Scott Cavallero, who I can only describe as strange.
She had a couple questions for you.
No, you gotta help me now.
Wait,
okay?
she sent
help me. Damn it.
She sent an email.
Like, for this one moment, we get introduced to a guy going nuts over if he has HIV or something. Meanwhile, the nurse is trying to figure out what happened to Becker. It's honestly strange and out of place. But I think that's enough of crazed yelling as we take a trip back to our elderly couple before they started kidnapping kids still in the oven. Here we see that with the power of a strange book, the couple is capable of bringing the dead back to life. Just like Girls in the Woods, couples won't stop reading evil books. How much has she been reading anyways?
We can't be bringing dead things to life.
Well, I can. I've been doing it all morning.
Well then. Okay, it doesn't end up like that, but slow your roll, Granny. This isn't the 1955 ball we're talking about here. Where did you even get the idea to get that book?
Hail Satan. Hail Satan. Hail Satan.
Yeah, it would seem our elderly couple is participating in the satanic arts. It's here we're introduced to Ian, played by Josh Cruddas, who, despite being pale as a sheet, isn't a ghost, just a redhead. Also, we get another flashback that tries to make the act of kidnapping more gray. It seems Becker was both pregnant, denying abortion, and lacking a father. Don't recall her checking the satanic ritual box, though. Speaking of satanic ritual, the couple is quickly performing one. The usual and expected things happen with coughing blood, upside-down crosses, and an apparition. Then this metal-looking spirit shows up to make sure you backed Crowsworn. A quick examining of Becker's body, and it's gone, leaving them all to wait until tomorrow, not knowing that was just the tip. Home isn't where the only battle is, as at the hospital Henry encounters a detective searching for Becker. He plays bluffs the best he can, but is constantly getting kneecapped by his nurse.
Well, remember I asked you if she called and then you said that you saw her earlier in the day?
Oh, right. Thank you, Talia. My mistake. Yes.
Meanwhile, Audrey gets a much less violent encounter of the creature from Trick or Treat, ironically dressed as a ghost. Also, Casper hits one hell of a growth spurt.
Trick or treat. Trick or treat.
These ghouls are nothing if not fair, so they target Becker as well. And she definitely gets the worst first time with a suffocating ghost played by There has to be some sort of Twister pro, Troy James. He ain't fooling around as he goes in biting away at Becker's belly. When Audrey bursts in, he comes at her like it's deadly premonition. However, he disappears as Henry shows up. None of these experiences convince them to stop even as a murder of crows form in their yard. Rory shows up once again to plow their dry, but what seems snow plowing isn't the only thing he knows.
Jackson's in there. He's coming back to you.
After hiding the body parts, Henry rushes home to find that the detective is present and in control of the situation. At least it seems that way.
Miss Becker, calm down.
You have to let me out. Please, you have to help me.
But it's all over now. I just have to do this one thing.
After, for the second time, a mind-blowing surprise, the couple realize just how in over their heads they are. So they turn to Ian, the most trustworthy man in their satanic circle. He explains what's going on and asks what specifically they read.
What if we did?
I'd be an idiot for standing here.
Yeah, when you offer up snacks with an open door, you're bound to land a few unwelcome things. As preparations and defensive salt lines are made, it becomes apparent some frights are set to repeat.
She's been doing that all night.
Don't step on the salt.
So day comes and the ritual is underway. However, things quickly go from bad to worse. Ian begins sabotaging the defensive lines while getting extra satanic. Henry is called about the murder of Ian's mother. If that isn't enough, Audrey is taken hostage, forcing Henry to hand over the keys to Becker. In revenge, Ian stabs Audrey, weakening her for the demon. Now the real fun begins.
He's coming. He's coming. And you can't fucking stop him.
All sorts of spirits pour in, attacking the humans, but something frightens them off. Audrey dies, leaving Henry without the will to live and weak. Thus he spits blood and the demon tears its way out of him. With only the dead still standing, Becker flees through the house. She ends up getting a crash course introduction to all the horrors that plague them throughout the film. Driving away, Becker stops as she spots the demon in her headlights. It glances at her, but simply continues on its way. Looking down at her belly, we end the film. That was Anything for Jackson, and what a doozy it was. An interesting take on the ghost genre combined with impressive practical effects and well-written characters. Having bought this film on a whim with no expectations, I may be easily impressed, but I truly think this film deserves more attention. The film has good pacing, a lack of bad jump scares, and a story that kept me interested. My main complaint was a side plot involving the family's daughter that left me confused and was ultimately not needed. The book gets a quick and serviceable explanation for how the couple came to possess it, but I could see some being annoyed with the lack of explanation surrounding the origins of some details. I sadly couldn't manage to find a budget, but the film did make a worldwide gross of $496,008. While the film has good creature effects, I can say that they had to have saved a decent chunk of the budget with filming of the house being done at writer Keith Cooper's house. The parts with the bedroom and basement, however, were filmed at director Justin Dyck's house. Production began in 2020 on location in Barrie, Ontario, Canada. In the demonic book, there is a phrase in Latin added by the director, which translates to, "Thank you for looking so closely." An interesting detail is the addition of 3, or so they say, ghosts hidden throughout the film. There is also apparently several small black cat figurines scattered about by production designer Daniel Mackworth. The title is near universally the same, save for in Russia, where the film is titled Reincarnation, the Coming of the Devil. The film premiered at Fantasia Film Festival in Canada on the 1st of September 2020. Its final distribution was 1st of October 2021 in Spain, though it had appeared at the Bilbao Fantasy Film Festival in Spain on the 15th of May 2021. Would I suggest this film? Yes, I would. The film, while being horror-focused, actually comes off rather hilarious, at least in a dark comedy sense. I'm not entirely sure if that was the intention behind the film, but it was my takeaway. Anyways, this just reminds me of those old words of wisdom. Sometimes dead is better.
DTF. What in the world does that mean? T down. Oh my goodness. Well, no wonder he didn't spell it out.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.